Okay, students, let us go to the next discussions. That is a buffer. What, what exactly the buffer means? Now, if you see the definitions over there, I have put for your understanding. A buffer is a temporary holding area for data to be transferred to another location. Is usually located in the RAM. That means, okay, somebody is waiting. Okay, I believe that everybody has joined. Okay, now we talk about a buffer. Now, what exactly the buffer is? Now, actually, here the definition says a buffer is a temporary holding area for data. That means this is the operating systems. This is the process. Now, suppose operating system, what is does it tries to do the certain activities, but if a input output devices, if it is coming, everybody is coming at a one stretch, so the loading of the operating system will be heavy. Thereby, the processor will become find it very difficult to manage it. So it is just like you think about this is a college, and you you, you want to meet the HOD. So what it will do, from the you go to the receptions, and from the reception you go to the your teacher. Then the teacher will be sending one by one people to the HOD. So that is how the thing is that. So all will be not going at a one stretch. Certain students will be standing there instead of standing everybody outside. So depending upon the buffer size, the person will be sending one after. So that is mean by buffer, a temporary holding area for data to be transferred to another locations. And it is located inside the RAM. So what is RAM? Primary memory. The concept of a buffer is to prevent a data congestions from incoming to the outgoing port of a transfer. So that is what you have to understand, because for example, you want to display something on the monitor, and you are drawing some figure on the screen, and if that particular figure having a lot of colors, so what will happen at an instant when you want to display it, if it is a very old system, it will display very slow, because then we will say that the RAM size is very small. When we talk about a RAM size, you have to understand that inside, if the size of the RAM is small, then the buffer size will be small. So it will be only holding a smaller components in the queue. That is means smaller components in the ready queue. So that if the larger amount of a ready queue is there, automatically more data can be processed at a one stretch. So that is what. Here you see this one. This is a buffer. So input device comes to buffer. When the buffer is full, send. When the next comes, when it is full, send. So if this size is small, means what? Small thing is there. If nothing is there, what will happen? Everybody will rush. So it will be getting congested. So sometime it will hang up. So that is what you have to see across. So that is what we means to. Now, when you see the buffer, there are some advantage, and there are some drawback is there with respect to this buffer, because if you want to need if the size is very small, then it will be similarly like nothing is there. But if a buffer is only just if you have put, it does not mean that it can able to solve everything. So that's why you have to redesign this buffer in some other forms. So what you do, this is a CPU buffer, and through the monitor, that means you want to display something, you pass through this buffer. Or you can have a two type of buffer. You see, you know that amplifier, if you take a common emitter amplifier and connect the base of the no, emitter of the common emitter amplifier to the next common emitter amplifier, then we say that it is a cascaded amplifier. So in this way, it is a cascading back buffer, front buffer, computer to back buffer to front buffer, then to monitor. So it will speed up the computer performance. So buffer is actually essential and part of the interface between the computer systems if it has to work in a different speed. So if assume that here is a printer and here the CPU. So a printer buffer, it will receive the data at a much higher speed if you are having a buffer incorporated in the systems. So that's how this one can able to work. You can have a back buffer, and a back buffer. Back buffer, this is a front buffer. That ഇവിടെ ഫ്രണ്ടും ബാക്ക് ഇവിടെ എന്തുവാ രണ്ട് ബാക്ക് ബഫർ കൊടുത്ത്. So രണ്ട് two systems are working parallel. We just think about it is just like this is a one battery of a 2 volt, another battery of a 2 volt. So it becomes what is going to happen? The automatically this 2 volt is this 2 volt is so automatically the capacity will be enhanced, increasing. So thereby it will able to drive it much fast, much more. So the back buffer, you can put it in this order. So that is what we termed it as a back buffers and the front buffer, two things. There is a circular buffer. Circular buffer പറഞ്ഞ ഇങ്ങനെയാ. ഇതാ circular buffer. ഈ circular buffer എന്തിനാ? This is known as a cyclic buffer or a ring buffer. So this is basically used for the data structuring. So you can make that particular data only to process if it is a ring forms. So depending upon the requirement, the system just like yesterday, day before yesterday, you have done a numerical problem with respect to scheduling using a RR. So in the RR, what you have done, you have used the atomic time one fixed value. So based on in that way, this operating systems also does the bufferings. So like this, a buffer is basically try to boost the performance of the computers so that it can able to deliver, and also it can able to avoid the congestions. That is the part of the buffer. And let's see the notes with respect to the buffer. If you go across to my notes with respect to the page number 149, there you can try to see that the process of storing a data in a memory called as a buffer, and a buffer in the data area is shared by the hardware device and the program process that operates with the different set of a pointer. So with the priorities. So that is one part. And a data buffer is a region of a physical memory that stores the data in a temporary storage area, and while it is being moved to from one place to another. That means everything is coming, it is stored, and then it is moved out. It is not that you are storing here and then taking it back. That is not possible. It is once it is entering, it will be exiting from that place, or it will be holding for a certain times, and then it is there. That is how it is coming to. So there are different type is the categories is there. Unbuffer means no buffering. That is, I have mentioned here is that data transfer from and data transferring to the second phase. That is what I have done. So here, when you take any buffer, there is a three thing is that transfer time, T, that is a transfer time for a block from a device. C is a computational time for the process incoming block, and M is the time for the time to copy the kernel buffer to the user buffer. That means transfer time that I will talk about in the scheduling. Transfer time is transferring the data. Second is the computational time, how much time it takes to compute, because all this buffer is in the queue, and the operating system try to manage this particular buffer based on the understanding between the processor and the ready queue. So because this is a running, this is a ready. So based on this one, the time is carried for the kernel buffer to the user buffer. So that is what. So this is this is the user mode. Then there is a single buffer. Single buffer is that is it is use one by one. So that is known as a buffer coming under single buffering. And here also stream buffer is a block buffer, that is only for processing that one. Double buffer, when you that means a two buffer is coming parallelly, that is known as a double buffer. So that is known as a double buffer when a two buffers are coming together. Circular buffer, as I told you, just like a ring buffer, that is known as a circular buffer. Utility, when we talk about a utility buffer, that the statement is a buffering is a technique that smooth out the peak of the input output demand. However, no amount of a buffering will be allowed, allows an output device to keep pace with the process indefinitely. When the average demand of the process is greater than the input device, then only this service. That means if the process is having a more demand, then only the buffer actually come into picture. If the process is not having any demand, the buffer has no role other than a simple meaning. See, there is a things I have written. YouTube download buffer for a 30 days. After that, it wash out. You see, if you download any data into your mobile, it will be there for 30 days. After 30 days, that one is just washing out. That means that is not deleted, but you will find a cross there. That information is, that means that has gone. So that is how this particular buffer is being, it's a temporary storage that you have to keep it in your mind. So this covers the buffers. Now we go to the next. This is a very important area, that is a disk scheduling. Now to understand this disk scheduling, it is always better to understand what is exactly the disk itself, because disk scheduling, this particular, if you see my notes there, I have mentioned it that disk scheduling. What is disk scheduling? Disk scheduling, that is in the page number 153. If you try to see this one, there it is mentioned that this scheduling is done by the operating systems to schedule input output requests arriving for disk. See, input output request. Input is there. Input output request for the for disk. Input means that's something you are writing into disk. Output means something you are retrieving from the disk. And that means you are writing into disk. The CPU, you are writing some command and you are saving into the disk. That is one. And you are retrieving from means this one, CPU want it for processing the data. So it will go to the primary memory. So that is what means this particular. Now, there is a statement is that in operating system, all devices are linked in a queue. So before I go to that one, let's see this disk, our hard disk in the computer. Hard disk, this is our hard disk. Hard disk look like this one. You see, this is how the hard disk look like. It will be having a number of layers. It is a cylindrical structure. It will spin here. This central point is a spindle. It is rotating here, and this is a platter. This particular section is called as, and this round is circular thing is nothing but a track. That is what in the, just like in the CD we are seeing is that it is exactly the same. Here is having a several sector. Sector parnya enduana, we divide the circle into 4 parts. So this is one sector. Then you divide it to 8 parts. So this is a one sector. This is another sector. So, and there is a gap. There is a gap between every sector. You think like every gap is nothing but a road. This is a one colony, 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 and like that. So this is how the sector and the track has been decided. Now, what is this one? You think about. When I talk about SSD means solid state device. The SSD memory nowadays coming. If you take about let's take if you take about a hard disk from the shop, if suppose if it is a new one, maybe 1,500, but if it is an old one, renovated one, so you will be getting for 500 to 600 rupees. But if you go to SSD, then it will cost 3,500 to 4,000 rate, depending upon the brand. So that's the why SSD in the SSD and this disk is that this is a mechanical device and every part is moving. SSD is not a moving part. It's an electronic device. It's consisting of the electronic material. So that's why that particular thing is costly and it is much faster. Now here, what happened? No? If you try to see carefully, see this is not a disk arm and this is not a disk head. This is a disk head. It will try to look for the positions where the data is sitting. So this is the arm which is holding, so that there is a balancing should be there. So this is a disk arm, disk head, disk arm, then disk head. So disk head is one is here, here. So arm is coming on this side. This is holding, head will be there on the both side. So it will be reading from the either side so that it can be faster. Earlier system was arm was only here and the head was only here. But here in the both the side, arm, head, arm, head, arm, head, arm, head is both the side. So in the both side your heading is there. So reading is possible. Now here, what is happening? Every time you are storing a data, this disk has to rotate. So when the disk is rotating, what is happening? A disk will consume some time. So that's why there is a computational time is there for the things. So what are those computational time? When you give a command, the disk is rotating means it has to initially set up. It has to rotate. This was silent. You might have seen in your computer light is blinking. That means the disk is getting set up. After that disk, then you want to retrieve some information. Then disk is looking for that place where it is. So disk want to speed up because it is starting initially. So speed will not be high. So it will take a time to rotate. After that, once it is retrieved, it has to transfer. So all these things, if you try to see, it is a time consuming. And finally, disk has to settle down. So if you try to see this one, this particular things cause the delay. That is known as scheduling. So that is known as a disk scheduling. That is what I tell. Disk queuing, seek time, rotational times, and through times. What is disk access time? Disk access time parna diskine locations where data is sitting. Adane seek time to find that data where it is. Other seek time. Rotational latency means disk has to rotate speed. Adine latency parane. Data identify it has to send. So there is a transfer time. So this is known as disk access time. And what is the disk response time? This plus the data which is coming, it will be in the queue. It is not that just like when you see a job, the process is coming, then the process P1, P2, P3 like this. So they will be in the queue. So that time is also taken. So you go to my page number 153, the same. There you can see on the bottom side, I have mentioned the disk response time. What is written there? It is the average of the time spent by the request waiting to perform the its input-output operations. That is the response time. It is the time it takes for waiting. Other disk delay and queuing. The second is nothing but rotational latency. Rotational latency at disk speed, what speed it takes. It is the time taken by the desired sector of the disk rotate into position to access the read and write. That it will rotate. After that, where it has to position that head point. So until that head is not reached, because it is slowly running, then it will take a speed. Then it will has to reach to that the point at which the head that head is accessed. Whether it has to go for reading or writing, that is known as rotational latency. The transfer time means it is a time for the transfer of a data depend upon the rotational speed of the disk plus and the size of the data, that is number of bytes transfer. It is known as a transfer time. When in the seek time means it is a time taken to locate the disk arm to a specified track where the data has to read and write. That means seek time is not a rotational latency, and rotational latency is two different. The rotational latency depend upon the positions and the speed of the rotation. Seek time is nothing but the time for that head to identify that particular positions where the data resides, whether it has to read or write. Now, based on this, the different disk scheduling algorithm is coming. That is FCFS, SSTF, SSCAN, CSCAN, look, and CLOOK. Now, we will see this. For us, this 4 is important. So that's why I just try to put this look and these things for your purpose. But that is not a part for this particular point to discuss. However, if you try to see this FCFS, FCFS is almost all like this one, FIFO. First in, first out, that is same as first come, first serve. That in means come, out means serve. So first come, first serve, or FCFS is same as FIFO. Now here we will talk about this one in a different perspective. Now let us see this by figure. Let me. Okay, we will talk this one, and later part we'll talk about our notes also. Now here first come, first serve means. Now here it processed request is sequential. Sequential means one after another. What is your process? When you talk about a process, that is nothing but your input output request. That means this is, you want your data sitting at some sector, some point 0, 25, 50, 75. Let us think that these are nothing but the address of the house. And you want to, you are telling somebody to locate this house. So it is easy for a person to locate this house. The person will start from 0, 25, but suppose a person is starting, the person house is at 100, and you are telling that you go as a first come, first serve. Then this person will start, go to here, and from here, it will go to 0, 25, 50, 75, then 125, 150, 70. This is known as a first come, first serve. So here you see this one, it is going like this, then going like this, then going like this, going like this. Here, that means it is assuming that the track number, what I have shown over here, it is not the actual track number. Track number is 100, 75, 50, 25, maybe 0, or no, this is a 50. This is not properly done. Assume this is 75, this is 50, or maybe 25. After that, it is shown 100 or some other value like this one. What you forget about this drawing. Now, the figure shows that it is going in this particular order without any botheration. That is known as a first come, first serve. In my note, it is very properly done. I will show you. It is fair to all process. That is fair to all process means it is going. It is not bothering to go in a randomized way. It is going whatever the data is there. Approach a random scheduling is performed if there are many processes, and except if the data is coming like this is 0, 50, 25, 70, 35, 90, then 60. This is known as a randomized way. Then only this having a problem. Now, what is the advantage of this one is that it is everybody gets a fair chance, and there is no indefinite postponement. No indefinite postponement. There is nothing. Everything is getting an order. Whatever order you are putting in that order. And what is the disadvantage is that in this case, the seek time will be based only on the whatever the data. If the data is in a straight order, it is okay. But if the data put is in a randomized order, then the performance will not be better. So that is the case with respect to FIFO. Now we go to the next. The next is the shortest service as task seek time first. That is SSTF. Now in the SSTF, the plus point is that one is that it will only look for the nearest one. It is not looking for the order. It is looking for the whichever is the nearest one. And if the difference between the the two value, if it is small, it will look for that one. That means 100 to 75 or 100 to 125. So here it is 100 to 75 is 25. Here to 100 to 125 is also 25. But this is not the actual figure I am talking about. But what I mean to say that it is looking for the whichever is the nearest one, and that's how it will make a pattern. So select the input output request that require with the least movement of the disk. Means there should be lesser movement, and it is always looking for a minimum seek time. So it will look for a smallest time and it will keep on randomize. So this is the sequence of mark. I will show one example for easy understanding. So what is the plus point of this one in the case of a SSTF? The response time in this case decrease because it will not running here and there. It will based on the smallest time. So that's a less time. Now another part is that throughput in this case increases in this approach. Now the disadvantage is in this case is that suppose that is a very rare case it comes is that in this case if a particular point, if it is waiting for a long time, since it is looking for the smallest difference, but somebody is on the very far, if it is a weak process, then there are chances that it will go for starvations. So that's why in this case the that is one issue is coming. But what I find is that SSTF always has a better performance compared to the other response time. So here you have to understand. Second thing is that there are chances of variation in the response times will also comes. I'm taking I told an example with respect to if suppose E stage 1, the 25 would 25 would. So this is a one rare cases. Now next is a SCN, scan or elevator. Now the scan or elevator, the specialty is that this is a very it has no botheration. It is just like a FIFO, but not a FIFO. But arm moves in a one direction. It starts from here, it goes here, or it starts from here, it goes here. These are in the methods. It will go to one direction and then to one direction, or it goes to this direction or this direction. This is the SCN. Arm moves in one direction only and satisfy all outstanding requests until it reaches the last track in that. That means it will move from here and it will reach that direction. Direction is reversed. That means gone here, then reverse. That is what. Now, what is the advantage in this particular case is that high throughput you will get, low variations will come, and average response time better. And sometime if this one is sitting here, this particular case is that if let us think that 0, this is equal to 0, and 100 is there. No, let us take a case 25. 25 minus 100 is 75. So if 25 want to access, if you see that 25 is accessing after going this one, but 199, if suppose this is close to 199, if 199 want to ask, because it is taking this one, this place, 199 got access. But if this is starving, waiting, then it will go for a starving. But starving cases is almost all nil, but it has a long waiting time. Now C-scan and it is just like this. But only the thing is that here there is no, in this case, it will not look for the that particular disk sector. Sector means where the data is storing. E side blank RQ. Then it will go for this one. You see, after here nothing. After this place, it has gone to. From here it has come. This is blank. Then again it's done. That means it is one direction. Engine up on. Now let us see this example. This is a very good example. You can see this one. FIFO, SSTF, SCAN, CCAN, saying that it starts from 100. 100 so here it is given next access. This is a track point, and each track access how it has followed. That is a number of track traversed. Traverse here. That means you are starting from track 100. So let us see here. In the first case, which case is in the FCFS. So 100 has to start. So 100, let us take the 100. 100 will come to here. This is the order. You just to see this was the order. So 100 is here. 100 why it is here? Because the track and your head was sitting in the that secondary memory in that disk at the position 100. So 100 in ഇങ്ങോട്ട് വരുന്നു 55. So 100 minus 55 is how much? 45. 55 so അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് 55 കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് 58. ആ ഡിഫറൻസ് എത്ര? 3. 58 കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് 39. അങ്ങനെ ഇതിന്റെ 9. അങ്ങനെ ഇത് this will keep on going. So 38 minus 184 എത്രയാണ്? 146. So in the FCFS, that head will come here and then it will go in this way. So every time it is going, it is finding a difference. So total difference, you add it, divide by total number. So this is 9, around 9 numbers are there. So divide by 9, you get a 55.3. This is known as a FCFS average. Now let us see the SSTF. SSTF, it will look for the minimum difference. 100. 100 close edana. 100 close is 50. This is actual order. 100 close edana 50. 90 alle. So 100 minus 90 is 10. So 90 will start first. So the pointer will come to 90. 90 കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഏതാണ്? 90 കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് നോക്കുമ്പോൾ 90യുടെ lowest value എത്ര? 90യുടെ താഴത്തെ വാല്യൂ ഏതാ? 58. 90യുടെ highest value ഏതാ? 90യുടെ next highest means just above 90. That is 150. So 150 minus 90 is 60. ആ സമയത്ത് 58 minus 90 ചെയ്താൽ എത്രയാണ്? It is around 32. So 32 is small as compared to this. So അതാ 58 വന്ന്. പിന്നെ 58 കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഏതാണ്? 55 വരും, 39 വരും, 38. എല്ലാം ചെറിയ ചെറിയ വാല്യൂ ആ ഡിഫറൻസ് വരുന്നത്. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഇവിടെ വരുമ്പോൾ അത് കൂടി വരിക. So this is how that particular track is going. ഇവിടെ വരുമ്പോൾ എന്തുവാണ്? സ്കാനിനകത്ത് എന്തോ ഇത് ഒരു സൈഡ് പോവുക. 100ന് എന്തോ ചെയ്ത് 150 പോയി, 160 പോയി, 184 പോയി നോക്ക്. പിന്നെ അവിടെ ചെന്നിട്ട് എന്തുവാ? തിരിഞ്ഞിട്ട് എന്തോ 184ന്റെ താഴെ എന്തുവാ? 90, 58, 55. So that is how it has come. ആ സമയത്ത് ഇവിടെ നോക്കുമ്പോൾ എന്തുവാ? ഇത് എക്സാക്ട്ലി ലൈക്ക് ദിസ് 150, 164, 84 വന്ന് ഇവിടെ വന്നിട്ട് എന്തുവാ? അത് ആ സൈഡിൽ പോയിട്ട് പിന്നെയും തുടങ്ങും. ഓരോ ഇങ്ങനെ പോവല്ലേ സൈഡിന്. സോ ഇവിടുന്ന് ഇവിടെ കൂടി, ഇവിടുന്ന് എന്തുവാ? ഇത് ലോ വാല്യൂവിന് കൂടും. 150 to 184 കൂടി, പിന്നെ ഇങ്ങോട്ട് പോയി, പിന്നെയും കൂടി. That is all. So if you see in all the 3 cases, this average is small as compared to this. That's why I was telling that in this case SSTF is always better. So this is what you can see in my notes also. So here also I have talked about the algorithm. These questions always comes in the university papers also, you can see. And finally, these are the point of a discussion that we have seen about the input output. We talked about the management technique, we talked about the device, we talked about the buffer, we talk about the disk scheduling and its different algorithm patterns. So these are the point of a discussions for this. So we conclude here today, and tomorrow after the exam I will be planning, because as per the latest principal circular, every discussion has to be recorded. Of course, we have missed a lot discussions in the earlier. We could have discussed. Actually, we had a very detailed discussion of all module. So tomorrow, after the exam, I will be reporting the exam by 9:30. So it's a 1-hour exam. After that, we will fix the schedules. I will convey it so that we can have a discussion of all the modules tomorrow itself, so that I can have a recording. But I will be using the same slides so that we can finish the slide within forenoon. By forenoon and afternoon, we can finish the entire discussion of the entire model, so that it will be a cover up and a refresh, and it will be enhance your knowledge. So with this, I want to conclude. So you have any questions, you have anything you want to ask, please put it on the chat box now, so that I can respond to it. I believe that tomorrow's discussions we will go with the second, third, like that, so that it is a continuations of the all, or sometime we may go with the first, second, third, fourth, so that we will able to finish, so that whole model will be there in your mind for as a permanent. So that will be a crisp discussions, but to the point which will be worth also. Any point you want to ask? Please put your question if any. So is it okay? So let's wind up. So dear students, thank you all. So we have our session was maybe I believe that it will has given a ample knowledge, ample informations, and you go through the notes, it will be clearing to you, because note is a very well defined way it has been created, and it will be there for an ever. Thank you.